Hey everybody, welcome to Module 4. So the questions this week revolve around the connections and integrations needing for connecting higher education and workforce needs for the 21st century, as well as describing the role of lifelong learning, apprenticeships, and career pathway programs as part of a workforce development strategy. Feingold explains that working learners are from the ages of 18 to 64 that are already out there in the workforce and have their own personal and family responsibilities. So they're usually unable to be a full-time college student in the traditional sense of living on campus and sitting in a classroom. So what integrations do we need to connect higher education to the workforce? To be successful, workers require flexible education programs, courses of study that yield education credentials that employers value, career guidance, and easy-to-use financial assistance. Feingold discusses three main goals through the connecting the dots discussion in the chapters this week. Reducing the divides between traditional liberal arts and vocational professional curricula and integrating the competencies of both in new ways. Building new connections among various types of post-secondary education providers so that learners can progress smoothly from one to another, and enable working learners to earn while you learn. I realize that this is a topic that I've spoken about more often than I had realized. When my brothers were getting close to graduation, we had a conversation in which I suggested that if they decided they wanted to go to college, that they do that right after high school. Don't take a gap year or anything, just go straight to college. The reason for my suggestion was because once you exit high school and become part of that working world full time, you begin to accumulate adult responsibilities. It's difficult to go back to college full time when you have the financial responsibilities such as, rent or a mortgage, car payments, credit cards. Maybe you've built a family in that year. One of my best friends, in fact, she is a single mother of two very active young boys. We've had the conversation about her going back to school. Her response is always the same. I don't have the time, the energy, or the means to attend classes. And I would have to repeat classes that I've taken before because they don't transfer. I just don't want to do that. So, in our reading about the connecting the dots, the transferring of credits is mentioned by way of building new connections between various types of post secondary education providers. A practical example of this is the assessment of the individual's prior learning, known as PLA, and offering actual credit for the PLA credits earned. Feingold tells us that research shows a higher graduation rate for the individuals that receive the actual credit. This brings us to question number 2 about the lifelong learning and apprenticeships and career pathways and the effects that that plays with workforce development strategy. In my opinion, this is such an important piece of it. It allows for multiple ways to ultimately kind of achieve the same goal. Not everyone is able to be a traditional student. We've already discussed that. And, with the pace at which technology is consistently changing the world today, we all have to be able to be lifelong learners in some sense, to continue to learn in order to be successful in just about any career path we choose. A great example of this in which I found was out of Washington State. The Aerospace Joint Apprenticeship Committee created a program to fill the gaps that the industry was seeing across the state of Washington as a whole. In this program, it allows for individuals to earn a living wage while they develop the skills that they need to perform well. It was a partnership that was created among businesses, community or technical colleges, and the government. And it's something that has encouraged education, economic development, as well as workforce development. That's one example there of how important, these types of programs are to workforce development strategy.